The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. Commander Lisa Martinez sat at her desk in the Earth Defense Force headquarters, sipping her coffee and reviewing routine satellite data, when her screen suddenly went dark. Green text appeared, scrolling across the black background in perfectly formed English letters. Greetings, representatives of Earth. We are the Galactic Council. We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations. Lisa nearly spilled her coffee. After years of scanning the stars for signs of intelligent life, first contact was happening while she was catching up on paperwork. She quickly pressed the emergency alert button, sending notifications to all senior staff. Within minutes, Dr. Alan Wright burst into her office, his gray hair disheveled and his glasses slightly crooked. "Is this real?" he asked, breathing heavily from his run-up 3 flights of stairs. "Please tell me this isn't another drill." "It's real," Lisa said, pointing to her screen where more text was appearing. "They're still transmitting." The message continued. "We have been observing your planet for the past 50 Earth years. We must admit our surprise at finding intelligent life on what we classify as a Class 9.8 Deathworld. Your survival is unexpected." Ellen leaned closer to the screen, his scientific curiosity overtaking his initial shock. "Deathworld. What do they mean by that?" Before Lisa could respond, her office filled with more people. General Duncan stepped in, followed by several other military officials and scientists. They all gathered around her desk, watching as the alien message continued to unfold. "We will send a representative to establish formal contact. Our emissary, Zix 427, will arrive in 3 Earth days at these coordinates." A set of numbers appeared, pointing to a location in the Nevada desert. "They're coming here?" Lisa asked, her training kicking in as she began planning security protocols. "But if they think Earth is so dangerous, why would they risk it?" The answer came moments later. "Our representative will be equipped with necessary survival gear to withstand your planet's extreme conditions. We ask that you prepare a secure location with the following environmental specifications." What followed was a list that made everyone in the room exchange puzzled looks. The aliens wanted a meeting room with minimal air movement, reduced gravity, and extremely stable temperature control. They also requested protection from what they called excessive geological activity. "They think our normal conditions are extreme," Alan said, scratching his head. "I wonder what their home world is like." Over the next 3 days, the Earth Defense Force worked around the clock to prepare. They converted a hangar in the Nevada facility into a meeting room that met the alien specifications. Scientists debated theories about the visitors, while military personnel established security protocols. On the morning of the scheduled arrival, Lisa stood with her team at the designated coordinates. The sky was clear and blue, with a gentle breeze blowing across the desert landscape. To the humans present, it was a perfect day. To their incoming visitors, apparently, it was terrifyingly hostile. A soft hum filled the air, and then something shimmered about 50 feet above them. A ship appeared, sleek, silver, and surprisingly small. It descended slowly, landing with extreme precision on the prepared platform. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then, with a soft hiss, a door opened. What emerged made Lisa's breath catch in her throat. Zix 427 looked like a cross between a spider and a crystal. Its body was translucent, with 8 delicate limbs that moved with careful precision. It wore what appeared to be a protective suit, but the material was unlike anything Lisa had ever seen. The alien moved with extreme caution, as if expecting the ground to crumble beneath it at any moment. "Greetings, Earth representatives," Zix 427 spoke, its voice coming through a translator device. "I must commend your bravery for surviving in such challenging conditions. Your species is either remarkably resilient or remarkably foolish. I look forward to discovering which." Lisa stepped forward, maintaining her diplomatic composure despite her amazement. "Welcome to Earth, Representative Zix 427. We look forward to learning from each other." She paused, then added with a slight smile, though I think we might have different definitions of challenging conditions. As if to emphasize her point, a light breeze ruffled her hair and caused Zix-427 to crouch defensively, its protective suit automatically stiffening against what it perceived as a violent atmospheric disturbance. This, Lisa realized, was going to be a very interesting cultural exchange indeed. Inside the specially prepared meeting room, Lisa Martins and Dr. Alan Wright sat across from Zix-427. The alien's crystalline body sparkled under the carefully dimmed lights. Even in the controlled environment, their visitor moved with extreme caution. "Let me understand this correctly," Alan said, looking at the holographic display Zix-427 had projected between them. "You rate habitable worlds on a scale of 1 to 10. Correct," Zix-427's translator conveyed. "Class 1 worlds are ideal. Stable tectonics, minimal weather variations, consistent gravity patterns. Like our homeworld." The hologram showed a peaceful-looking planet with no visible oceans and barely any surface features. "And Earth is rated 9.8, Lisa asked, studying the comparison charts floating in the air. "That's almost at the top of your scale." "Indeed. Your world is—" Zix-427 paused, its crystalline structure shifting slightly. "Well, to be frank, it's terrifying. Your planet's crust is in constant motion. Your atmosphere generates devastating storms. Your gravity is crushing. The temperature variations are extreme. The fact that you survive here, let alone build a civilization, defies all our previous understanding." Alan leaned forward, fascinated. "But these conditions are normal for us. Take plate tectonics. Without it, we wouldn't have the mineral richness that helped our civilization develop. And our weather patterns are vital for distributing water and heat around the planet." The alien's translator made a sound that might have been aghast. "You mean you actually appreciate these hazards?" "They're not hazards to us," Lisa explained. She pulled up her own data display, showing Earth's various ecosystems. "Look at our species diversity. Life here has adapted to every condition, from the deepest oceans to the highest mountains." Zix-427's crystalline body flickered with what they had learned with surprise. "Your oceans, yes. Let's discuss those. Vast bodies of corrosive liquid that cover most of your planet's surface. How do you survive with such a threat constantly present?" Lisa and Alan exchanged glances. "We swim in it," Lisa said simply. "For fun." The alien's translator went silent for several seconds. When it spoke again, its tone had changed. "You willingly immerse yourselves in that substance. For entertainment. Some of us live near the oceans our whole lives." Alan added, "We build cities along the coasts. We harvest food from the waters. We've even built settlements underwater." Zix-427's protective suit whirred as it adjusted its settings. This explains why the Council was so divided about making contact. Half believed any species surviving here must be incredibly advanced. The other half thought it impossible that true intelligence could develop in such chaos. "And what do you think?" Lisa asked carefully. The alien's crystal structure shifted through several colors before settling. I think we have greatly misunderstood what makes a world suitable for life. Your Earth defies our classification system entirely." Just then, a slight tremor shook the building. A minor earthquake, barely noticeable to the humans. Zix-427, however, immediately engaged all its safety protocols, its protective field glowing brightly. "Please remain calm," Lisa said quickly. "This is a very mild seismic event. Completely normal." "Normal?" Zix-427's translator squeaked. "You mean your planet does this regularly?" "Several times a day, usually," Alan explained. "This one's so small we wouldn't normally even mention it." The alien's crystalline body pulsed with rapid color changes. "Several times, daily? And you just continue your activities?" "Of course," Lisa said. "We've built everything to withstand much stronger quakes. Our buildings flex with the movement. They're designed to work with nature, not against it. As the tremor faded, Zix 427 slowly relaxed its protective field. I must report this to the Council immediately. Your adaptation level is unprecedented. Perhaps, it paused, colors swirling through its crystal form. Perhaps we need to reconsider what we think of as ideal conditions for life. Lisa smiled. We'd be happy to show you more, though I suggest we wait until tomorrow to visit the ocean. The alien's translator made a sound that might have been a nervous laugh. Yes, perhaps a gradual approach would be wise. I'm still trying to process the fact that you casually walk around in this gravity. As if to demonstrate, Lisa stood up smoothly. Speaking of walking around, would you like a tour of our facility? We've adapted all the corridors to your environmental needs. Very well, Zix 427 agreed, rising cautiously. Though I must ask, are there any other normal planetary behaviors I should be prepared for? Well, Alan said cheerfully, it is hurricane season. The alien's translator chose that moment to short out completely. 1 week after their first meeting with Zix 427, Lisa Martinez found herself aboard a Galactic Council ship with her small team of experts. Dr. Alan Wright kept pressing his face against the viewing windows like an excited child. Dr. Kevin Phillips, their geologist, was busy taking readings of everything he could scan. Major Samantha Wells maintained a professional stance, but her eyes betrayed her amazement at their surroundings. Please stay calm, Zix 427 said through its newly upgraded translator. We're approaching the Council's homeworld, Harmony Prime. The gravity will be much more comfortable for you there. The humans watched as they descended toward a planet that looked nothing like Earth. Its surface was almost perfectly smooth, with only gentle rolling hills. There were no oceans, just shallow pools of a silver liquid scattered across the landscape. The sky was a pale pink, without a single cloud in sight. It's so still, Kevin said, checking his instruments. I'm not detecting any tectonic movement at all. Of course not, Zix 427 replied, sounding proud. We engineered all instability out of the crust thousands of years ago. No earthquakes, no volcanoes, no unexpected ground movements of any kind. Lisa noticed that their ship was moving extremely slowly and carefully. Is this your normal landing speed? Oh no, we're moving quite rapidly by our standards, Zix 427 said. We've increased our speed to accommodate your Earthborn impatience. Usually, a landing takes 3 of your days. The humans exchanged glances but said nothing. Inside the Council's main meeting chamber, representatives from 12 different alien species gathered to study the humans. Most of them resembled Zix 427 in some way. Crystalline or delicate-looking beings adapted to very stable environments. They all wore protective suits, even in their own atmosphere. We are most curious, said the Council leader, a tall, wispy being named Erix. How do you manage your planet's constant disasters? That's just it, Lisa explained. We don't see them as disasters. Earth's forces helped shape our evolution. Take our bones, for example. She displayed a hologram of the human skeleton. They developed to be both strong and flexible because of Earth's gravity. Our muscles adapted to handle varying pressures and movements. Kevin stepped forward with his data. And your world here, it's beautiful, but without tectonic activity, how do you get new minerals to the surface? The council members looked confused. New minerals? One asked. Yes, on Earth, plate tectonics brings up fresh materials from the planet's core. It's how we get many of our important resources. It's also why we have such rich soil for growing food. The aliens muttered among themselves. Eric spoke up. You mean to say that your planet's violent geological activity is beneficial? Absolutely, Alan added. Same with our weather. Those storms you fear. They distribute water and heat around our planet. They help our plants grow, fill our rivers, and clean our air. Samantha, who had been quiet until now, joined in. And all these conditions pushed us to adapt, to innovate. We learned to build stronger buildings, to predict weather patterns, to work with our environment instead of against it. A small alien in the back raised what looked like a limb. But what about your oceans? The massive bodies of dihydrogen monoxide. Water, Lisa corrected gently. And yes, our oceans are essential. They regulate our climate, provide food, and support countless species. Most of our planet's life started there. The council chamber erupted in surprised murmurs. Zix 427, who had been watching proudly, addressed its fellow council members. I have seen these humans swim in their oceans. They let the water cover their entire bodies, and they smile while doing it. This caused several council members to activate their emergency stabilization fields. Erix had to wave them back to order. Perhaps, Erix said slowly, we have been looking at this wrong. What we saw as challenges, you saw it as opportunities. Each thing we classified as a danger, you turned into an advantage. Lisa nodded. That's exactly it. Earth isn't trying to kill us. It's our home, and its forces helped make us who we are. As if to punctuate her point, Kevin's instruments beeped. Sorry, he said, looking at his readings. Just got excited. Found some amazing mineral formations in those hills outside. The potential for study here is incredible. The council members watched in fascination as the humans continued to show interest in things they had always taken for granted or feared. Perhaps they were beginning to realize they had much more to learn from these Earth-dwellers than they had initially thought. The warning sirens caught everyone by surprise. In the council's orbital station above Harmony Prime, red lights flashed as automated systems detected an incoming solar flare. The alien representatives scattered in panic, their crystalline forms flickering with distress colors. Emergency protocols initiated, the station's computer announced. Estimated time to impact, 15 minutes. Lisa Martinez watched as the council members rushed around without any clear direction. Their protective suits whirred and hummed as their anxiety increased. Beside her, Major Samantha Wells was already pulling up the station's systems on her tablet. Commander Martinez, Samantha said quietly, their radiation shielding is minimal. They've never needed it before. Their sun is usually very stable. Dr. Alan Wright joined them, looking at the readings. Their shields won't hold against a flare of this magnitude. Not even close. Lisa stepped forward, her voice cutting through the chaos. Council Leader Erix, we can help. We deal with solar flares regularly on Earth. Erix's crystalline form pulsed with worried colors. But this is unprecedented. Our sun has never. There's no time to debate. Lisa interrupted. Give us access to your systems. We know how to handle this. After a moment's hesitation, Erix waved a limb, granting them control. The human team sprang into action immediately. Samantha, start redirecting power to strengthen the shields, Lisa commanded. Alan, help evacuate everyone to the core sections where there's the most protection. Kevin, we need those mineral readings from the station's outer hull. The humans moved with practiced efficiency. Years of dealing with Earth's regular solar events had prepared them for exactly this kind of situation. While the council members huddled in the protected central chambers, the human team worked quickly to fortify the station's defenses. Diverting emergency power to the shield grid, Samantha announced, her fingers flying over the control panel. Adding a magnetic layer like we use back home. Hull composition analyzed, Kevin reported. It's not ideal, but I can help redistribute the energy load across the structure. Lisa turned to the frightened council members. This is what we mean about adaptation. On Earth, we face solar flares all the time. We've learned to predict them, prepare for them, and protect ourselves. 5 minutes to impact, the computer announced. Zix 427 approached Lisa, its translator wavering with stress. How can you be so calm? This is a disaster. No, Lisa replied firmly. This is just another day at the office for us. Earth's magnetic field protects us from solar radiation, But we still had to learn to handle the big flares. We built our technology to withstand them. We created warning systems and safety protocols. 1 minute to impact. The station hummed as the improved shields powered up. In the protected central chamber, the council members watched in amazement as the humans continued to work, adjusting settings and monitoring systems with practiced ease. The solar flare hit. The station shuddered slightly, but the reinforced shields held. Emergency lights flickered briefly, then stabilized. Outside the viewports, space itself seemed to shimmer with energy. Shields holding at 87%. Samantha reported calmly, "We're going to make it through just fine." As the danger passed, the council members emerged from their protective positions. They stared at the humans with new understanding. You just saved all our lives," Eric said, its crystalline form still showing stress colors. "And for you, this was routine." "Relatively routine," Lisa nodded. "Earth has taught us to be ready for anything. What you see as disasters, we see as challenges to overcome. It's how we've survived and thrived on our Deathworld." The council members gathered around the humans, their fear replaced by curiosity and respect. One of them spoke up, "Perhaps we should reconsider what we think of as dangerous. Your adaptability. It's not just about surviving. It's about turning challenges into strengths." Lisa smiled. "Exactly. And speaking of challenges, we should probably help you upgrade your early warning systems. That flare nearly caught us by surprise." As the human team began sharing their knowledge about solar weather prediction and protection, the council members watched with growing appreciation. The species they had once pitied for living on a dangerous world were now teaching them how to survive the dangers of space itself. After the solar flare incident, the council became eager to learn more about human adaptability. In one of the station's largest chambers, Lisa Martinez and her team set up a presentation about life on Earth. The room was packed with alien representatives, all watching intently through their protective suits. "Let's start with pressure adaptation," Dr. Alan Wright said, pulling up a hologram of Earth's oceans. "Life on our planet exists at every depth, from the surface down to the deepest trenches, where the pressure would crush most spacecraft." The aliens shifted uncomfortably as Alan showed them creatures from the deep sea. A giant squid appeared in the hologram, moving gracefully through the dark water. "This animal lives naturally under pressures that would destroy most of your ships," Alan explained. "And it's not alone. We have thousands of species that thrive in these conditions." Dr. Kevin Phillips stepped forward next, changing the display to show Earth's various environments. "And look at our temperature ranges. We have life in hot springs that would boil your protective suits, and in Arctic ice that would freeze your crystalline form solid." "Impossible," one council member said. "No single planet should have such extreme variations." "Not only do we have them," Lisa added, "but they're essential to our planet's health. These differences drive our weather patterns, ocean currents, and airflows. They create the conditions that make Earth so rich in life." Samantha Wells brought up images of human cities in different environments. "We've built communities in deserts, tropical rainforests, Arctic regions, and high mountains. Each place has its challenges, and we've adapted to all of them." The hologram showed people skiing down snowy slopes, then switched to others swimming in tropical waters. The council members watched in amazement as humans moved easily between environments that, to them, seemed impossibly hostile. But the radiation, Zix 427 spoke up. "Your sun bombards your planet constantly. How do you survive that?" "Our atmosphere protects us," Lisa explained. "The same air you find so turbulent and dangerous. It shields us from harmful radiation, and when we need to go beyond it, we've developed technology to protect ourselves, just like we showed you during the solar flare." Kevin pulled up geological data next. "Even the Earth beneath our feet is constantly teaching us to adapt. Volcanic regions have some of our most fertile soil. Earthquake zones led us to develop flexible building techniques. We learned to work with our planet's forces instead of fighting them. A small alien in the back raised a limb. But how did you become so resilient? Ellen smiled. Because we had to. Each challenge made us stronger, smarter, more innovative. Our ancestors didn't just survive Earth's conditions. They learned from them. Every problem solved made us better at solving the next one. Lisa stepped to the center of the room. You've been calling Earth the Deathworld, but you're looking at it backward. Earth isn't trying to kill us. It's been training us. Every earthquake, every storm, every change in temperature or pressure, they're not obstacles. They're opportunities to adapt and grow. The hologram changed to show various human achievements. Submarines exploring ocean depths, planes flying through storms, buildings standing firm through earthquakes, and spacecraft launching into the heavens. This is why we were ready for the solar flare, Samantha added. Earth taught us to expect the unexpected, to prepare for changes, to turn problems into solutions. The council members began to murmur among themselves, their crystalline forms shifting through thoughtful colors. Many were taking notes, recording everything the humans showed them. Perhaps, Council Leader Eric said slowly, we have been too focused on avoiding challenges rather than learning from them. Your Earth, which we thought was dangerously unstable, has given you gifts we never received on our calm, controlled worlds. Lisa nodded. Every world has something to teach its children. Earth taught us to be strong, flexible, and resourceful. Now we're ready to share those lessons with you. As the presentation continued, the aliens watched with growing understanding. The humans weren't just survivors of a harsh world. They were its students, shaped by its lessons into something remarkable. And now, those lessons might help the entire galaxy adapt to new challenges. The emergency call came during the middle of the human team's rest cycle. Lisa Martinez rushed to the council's control room, followed closely by Major Samantha Wells. The chamber was filled with panicked alien representatives, their crystalline forms flashing with distress colors. What's happening? Lisa asked, seeing the worried faces of the council members. Council Leader Eric's translator crackled with stress. Our colony on Serenity 4 is experiencing. The leader's voice faded, overcome with horror. They're experiencing Earth-like conditions. Zix 427 finished. Tectonic movements. Atmospheric disturbances. It's a nightmare. Dr. Kevin Phillips and Dr. Alan Wright arrived, already checking the data streaming across the screens. Kevin's eyes widened at the readings. These are basic plate movements, he said, similar to what we call a moderate earthquake on Earth. And those storms, they're like our regular spring weather. Regular? An alien counselor squeaked. There are 10,000 colonists down there. They have no idea how to handle such chaos. Lisa stepped forward, her voice firm and confident. Then let us help. This is exactly what we're trained for. The council members looked at each other, their protective suits humming with uncertainty. Finally, Eric nodded. Please, save our people. Within an hour, the human team was aboard an emergency shuttle, racing toward Serenity 4. They'd brought Earth-designed emergency equipment and years of disaster response experience with them. The colony's main problem isn't the conditions, Samantha explained during the flight. It's the panic. They don't know these situations are survivable. When they landed, they found the colony in chaos. The elegant crystal buildings were shaking with each small tremor. Colonists rushed about randomly, their fear making the situation more dangerous than the actual conditions. Lisa took charge immediately. Kevin, assess the geological situation. Samantha, start organizing evacuation routes. Alan, help me set up an emergency command center. The human team moved with practiced efficiency. Kevin's knowledge of Earth's plate tectonics helped him predict where the ground would be most stable. Samantha's military training proved perfect for creating calm, orderly evacuation plans. Watch and learn, Lisa told the colony's leaders as she demonstrated how to secure buildings against motion. These support beams need to flex, not fight against the movement. Alen worked with local medical teams, showing them how to handle the stress their people were experiencing. Remind them that what they're feeling is fear, not danger. These conditions are completely survivable with the right preparation. As hours passed, the colonists began to calm down. They watched in amazement as the humans walked calmly through what they had thought were deadly conditions. Some even started to help, learning quickly from Earth's example. See this weather pattern. Samantha pointed to her screens, teaching colonial guards. On Earth, we call this a nice spring day. Your buildings can handle much more than this if you just adjust their support systems. Kevin gathered colonial engineers, showing them how to read seismic data. These tremors are giving you valuable information about your planet. They're not your enemy. They're tools for understanding what's happening beneath the surface. By the time the worst had passed, the colony had changed. Where there had been panic, there was now purpose. The colonists had begun to adapt, just as humans had done over countless generations on Earth. "You've done more than save our people," the colony's leader told Lisa. "You've shown us how to live in a way we never thought possible." Lisa smiled, watching colonists already starting to rebuild using Earth-inspired designs. That's the greatest lesson Earth taught us. There's no such thing as an unlivable world. There are only unprepared people. As the human team prepared to return to the council station, they could see their influence spreading through the colony. The aliens were starting to view their environment differently, not as a threat to hide from, but as a challenge to adapt to and learn from. The Deathworld humans had become life-saving teachers, turning a crisis into a lesson about survival, adaptation, and growth. 2 months after the Serenity 4 crisis, the Galactic Council gathered for a special session. The Grand Chamber was filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds, all waiting to hear the Council's new declaration. Commander Lisa Martinez stood with her team, watching as Council Leader Erix took the central platform. "Fellow beings of the galaxy," Erix began, its crystalline form glowing with formal colors. "Today we correct a great mistake in our understanding. For centuries, we have classified planets based on what we thought was safe and suitable for life. We were wrong." The chamber filled with murmurs as Erix continued. "Earth, which we once labeled a death world, is not a place of death at all. It is what we now call a crucible world, a planet that forges life into its strongest possible form." Dr. Alan Wright smiled as the Council displayed Earth's new classification. The number 9.8 was replaced with a new symbol, one that showed Earth's special status as a planet that created resilient life. "The humans have shown us that what we saw as dangers were actually opportunities," Erix announced. "Their earthquakes taught them to build better. Their storms taught them to predict and adapt. Their gravity made them strong. Their changing seasons made them flexible." Dr. Kevin Phillips nudged Lisa as Erix brought up images from Serenity 4. The colony was thriving now, its buildings redesigned with Earth-inspired architecture that worked with the planet's movements instead of fighting them. "Because of this new understanding," Erix continued, "we are establishing the Galactic Adaptation Academy. This new institution will teach species from across the galaxy how to handle changing conditions and unexpected challenges." Major Samantha Wells stood straighter as Erix turned toward the human team. "And to lead this academy, we have invited Commander Lisa Martinez and her team from Earth to be our primary instructors." The chamber erupted in approving lights and colors. Lisa stepped forward to accept the position, remembering how just months ago these same beings had pitied humans for living on what they thought was a deadly world. "The academy will be different from anything we've created before," Lisa explained to the gathered aliens. "We won't just teach you how to survive challenging conditions, we'll show you how to thrive in them. Every solution humans found on Earth can help other species adapt to new worlds and situations." The first classes were already forming. Species that had never left their safe, stable worlds were learning how to handle different gravities, changing weather, and varying temperatures. The humans' experience was proving invaluable. "Watch this." Alan told a group of crystalline beings similar to Zix 427. He demonstrated how Earth plants grew stronger in wind, developing better root systems and stronger stems. Nature doesn't just survive challenges, it uses them to improve. Kevin worked with alien engineers, showing them how to read a planet's movements. Every shake, every tremor, every volcanic rumble tells you something about your world. Listen to them, learn from them, and you'll never be caught unprepared. Samantha trained security teams from various worlds, teaching them Earth's emergency response techniques. Preparation beats panic every time, she explained. The more you practice handling difficult situations, the better you'll respond when real challenges come. As the Academy grew, something unexpected happened. Species that had once stayed isolated on their homeworlds began to explore more. They started colonizing planets they would have once considered too dangerous. The galaxy was opening up in ways the Council had never imagined. You see, Lisa told Zix 427 as they watched students practice in varying gravity levels, Earth wasn't trying to kill us. It was preparing us for this, to help others face their fears and grow stronger. Zix 427's translator hummed with amusement. To think we once pitied you for living on Earth. Now we understand. Your world didn't just make you survivors, it made you teachers. As more species graduated from the Academy and spread throughout the galaxy, the old fear of challenging conditions began to fade. The term Deathworld disappeared from use, replaced by a new understanding that the greatest growth comes not from avoiding challenges, but from learning to overcome them. Earth's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't just its resilient people, but the lessons they had learned from their dynamic, ever-changing world. What was once seen as a curse had become a blessing, shared with all who were ready to learn and grow stronger.